Hello, dear children. Welcome you all to our very first lecture of GK. In our first lecture, we are going to discuss more about our country. Yes, we are going to discuss our India. So let us begin with the very first chapter, traditional Indian toys.
So let us discuss about the very first chapter of GK, Traditional Indian Toy Crafts. Dear children, I know you all love toys and you might have used them during this lockdown period. So toys and games are an integral part of childhood. The rich cultural traditions and craftsmanship of India have produced many traditional toys and games, and we are going to explore more about them in this particular chapter. Toys are the simplest souvenirs that one can bring from India. They are light and small, beautiful and handcrafted, and that's why we have a very famous tradition of Indian toys. So let us see the very first picture. The colorful birds you can see over here are from the Nirmal toys. Nirmal toys is a traditional wooden craft work which is originated in the Telangana state of India. The toys are colorful and vibrant looking. It is said that it is originated during the reign of Kakatiya rulers. The craft works are painted with Duco paints, which gives them a vibrant look. The second picture, Channapatna toys, belongs to the town in Ramnagar district of Karnataka, and this particular town is also known as India's toy town. These toys are colorful and crafted carefully and individually, complete with vegetable dyes, a safe option for children. The origin of this craft work can be traced back to the reign of Tipu Sultan. The next are the walnut wood toys of Kashmir, which are made using the choicest of walnut tree trunks. The walnut wood gives a differentiable shine to the beautifully carved toys and dolls. The colorful, vibrant colored toys, the stuffed hanging toys, cloth toys, these are made in parts of Rajasthan and Gujarat. They are very famous in the parts of Rajasthan and Gujarat and all over India. The bamboo toys are primarily made in Assam, Tripura, and parts of West Bengal. The next you can see a beautiful doll carved out of shells, and they are shell toys from Puri in Odisha and Puducherry in Tamil Nadu. They are attraction for tourists and locals too. The coconut shell toys, these are popular in Kerala. You can find many such beautifully made coconut shell toys in southern India. The next, Sikhi grass toys. These toys are popular in Bihar. The clay toys, they are very famous. These particular clay toys belong to the region of West Bengal and Tamil Nadu and are well known to locals as well as tourists. Many of you might have played with the clay toys made in our region. The next is the metal toys. These toys of Muradabad in UP are popular countrywide. There is an amazing fact given in your textbook, which we are going to disclose over here. The Ganjifa, an ancient Indian card game which was historically believed to have been brought to India and popularized during the Mughal period. The Persian word Ganjifi means playing cards, and these were the foremost artistic creations used for playing cards, more so in princely states where kings patronized the art and the artist. The cards were typically circular, although some rectangular decks have also been parts of the artist's imagination. This was a game popularly played by post medieval kings and noblemen that spread to many regions in the country. So, here we conclude with the very first chapter. Now, let us look at the second chapter, that is embroidery from Indian states. We are going to discover the vibrant colors of India. So, yes, the next comes the embroidery. India has a rich tradition of embroidery. It includes various embroidery styles that varies in regions and states. So let us learn to identify some of the rich styles of India. In your textbook, there are pictures given, and the picture also tells from which particular place these embroidery belongs. I'm going to give you a little more information about the embroidery designs. Mukesh is a type of embroidery done in the capital of Uttar Pradesh, that is Lucknow. This type of embroidery involves twisting thin metallic threads to create patterns all over the fabric. Although the most common pattern is dots, other patterns are also created in Mukesh work. The second talks about the beautifully colored embroidery design, that is Kasuti. Kasuti is a traditional form of folk embroidery practiced in the state of Karnataka, India. Kasuti work, which is very intricate, sometimes involves putting up 5,000 stitches by hand and is traditionally made on dress wear like ikal saris, ravi, ravik, and angi or kurta. The history of Kasuti dates back to Chalukya period. Children, you have studied about Chalukya period in class 7 history. The name Kasuti is derived from the words Kai meaning hand and Suti meaning cotton, indicating an activity that is done using cotton and hands. The next is Kanta embroidery. The word Kanta basically means throat, and this is a popular style of embroidery that comes from West Bengal and is a significant symbol that displays the skill and talent of the rural women in Bengal. The next is Chikankari from Uttar Pradesh. This traditional style of embroidery is done mostly on cotton and lawn. It's one of the finest embroideries evoking the culture of Lucknow, India. Sometimes delicate beadwork is also incorporated into the technique. There is a lot of demand for chikankari in Pakistan and Bangladesh as well. The Ari work from Andhra Pradesh is a type of embroidery which is done on a stretched fabric and stitching the design with a long needle which has a hook in the end. Skilled workers use the Ari work to enhance the famous silk saris of South. Srikalahasti, a holy town in Andhra Pradesh, also locates the richness of Ari work. The next is the Sindhi Embroidery from Gujarat, which is a handicraft and textile signature art tradition of the tribal community of Kutch district in Gujarat, India. This embroidery, with its rich design, has made a notable contribution to the Indian embroidery traditions. The embroidery practiced normally by women is generally done on fabrics of cotton in the form of a net using cotton or silk threads. The next talks about the Chambarum or Chamba handkerchief is an embroidered handicraft that was once promoted under the patronage of former rulers of Chamba kingdom. Popular for its art and embroidery, a little town called Chamba is located in the hills of Himachal Pradesh. This small yet graceful settlement of mountain dwellers gave birth to an intricate form of needlework known as the Chamba Rumal. The next very famous one, the Banjara embroidery, is one of the most exquisite and artistic forms of embroidery that one can opt for its Banjara embroidery. Using a unique combination of patchwork and mirror work and pairing it up with embroidery. Banjara work is as unique as it is beautiful. When it comes to Indian embroidery craft, it does not get any better than Banjara embroidery. The origins of Banjara embroidery are rooted in the culture of a semi-nomadic community known as the Banjara. The Gota work embroidery from Rajasthan is a type of Indian embroidery which uses the applic technique. Small pieces of zari ribbon are applied onto the fabric with the edges sewn down to create elaborate pattern. Gota embroidery is used extensively in South Asian weddings and formal clothes. The Kashida from Jammu Kashmir is one of the oldest forms of embroidery that originated in Jammu and Kashmir. Kashida embroidery is created by using thick colored threads as well as beads to create different patterns. The motifs that are used to create this form of embroidery includes images inspired by nature, such as vines, birds, leaves, and flowers, and this is one of the defining aspects of this forms of embroidery. Full patti ka kaam is a traditional embroidery style from North India. The delicate form of applic work was originally done using fine fabrics. This particular embroidery dates back to the Mughal period. It is said that in those days this work was embroidered on shalukas worn by the begums of Nawabs. The next is the Fulkari from Punjab, which literally translates into flower work, has a history etched in the culture of Punjab. Spun from the charkha, this spectacular style of embroidery is patterned on odinis, shawls, kurtis, and chunris. Fulkari has many stories in the romantic protagonists Heer and Ranjha. Fulkari is a dream weaver for every Punjabi girl. A few kilometers from Bhubaneswar, the capital of Orissa, is a village where all houses and shops along the roads have one thing in common: beautiful applic work in the making or on display, all giving out a loud burst of colors. This famous applic work comes from Pipli village, which was established by the king of Orissa for accommodating the craftsmen who made applic umbrellas and canopies for the annual Jagannath Yatra. The next is the Toda embroidery from Tamil Nadu, which is also known as Phukar, is an artwork among the Toda pastoral people of Nilgiris in Tamil Nadu, made exclusively by their women. The embroidery, which has a fine finish, appears like a woven cloth but is made with use of red and black threads with a white cotton background. The next is the Zerdosi from Uttar Pradesh that came to India from Persia. Its literal translation, zar meaning gold and dozi meaning embroidery, refers to the process of using metallic bound threads to sieve embellishment onto various fabric. It is particularly popular in countries like Iran, Pakistan, and India. The Shamilami from Manipur is yet another renowned textile craft from Manipur, which uses a technique that combines those of weaving and embroidery. The ethnic Meithai community practices the intricate and distinct technique used in traditional production of Shamilami. So these were the types of embroidery in India. There is a question for you all which you need to find out. What do Kutch embroidery Gujarat, Rabari embroidery Rajasthan, and Shisha embroidery Haryana have in common? So after knowing all this information, you have to find out what is there common in between these three types of embroidery. I'm going to share the link in the bio through which you can watch this collection and get the information. So let us talk about the third chapter, handicrafts from Eastern India. We are going to solve one exercise over here. India is rich in culture and crafts, well depicted in its handicrafts, be it decorative pieces, jewelry, or clothes. The handicrafts are famous the world over. So here are some pictures. Well-known handicrafts from eastern and northeastern states of India, and we are going to solve this exercise. So the very first picture which you see over here is about a sari, and this particular design is known as ikat. The second one is from West Bengal, and this particular handicraft is known as Sholapit. This third design of the handloom work is known as Eri Silk Weave Sari from Assam, which is a very famous handicraft work in Assam. The fourth one from Meghalaya is the Endi silk material. I'm typing the answers over here. You can take down in your textbooks and write the answers. The next one is the Applic Work. We have already studied about Applic Work in our last chapter when we were studying about embroidery. So this belongs to Odisha. The cane work is also a very famous form of work, handicraft work in West Bengal. From Nagaland is this particular three-piece tribal shawl. This is three-piece tribal shawl from Nagaland. Yes. The next is the cane hat from cane work again. We have already written one of the cane work from West Bengal, and this is another cane hat from Assam. And the last picture over here is from cane and bamboo craft from sorry this is cane and bamboo craft work from Arunachal Pradesh. I hope you all will get the answers of this particular exercise over here. We have one more page to do. Let us move ahead with that. This particular statue of Buddha from Arunachal Pradesh is the Khamti tribal wooden Buddha. So I'm going to write the answers over here. This particular wooden craft is from Khamti tribal wooden Buddha. The next is the Zorai. Zorai is from Assam, and we have some more information about it, that it is a traditional symbol of Assam. In simplistic terms, it is an offering tray mostly made of bell metal with a stand at the bottom, as you can see over here in the picture. There are zorais with or without a cover on the top. The next picture is of Longpi pottery, black stone. This is known as Longpi pottery. It is made with black stone. The next image is from Sikkim. This particular picture is of Thangka painting. Thangka painting. And it is from Sikkim. This picture from Manipur is of ceremonial and theatre masks. From Manipur, ceremonial and theatre masks, which are very famous in Manipur. And the last picture talks about the bamboo or cane room dividers. This bamboo or cane room dividers. So this particular exercise we have solved here, and we have written the answers. More information, you'll find it in the bio. I'm going to share the link of more information in the bio. So do check the information